With part one, I talked a little more about some of the bugs and issues and kind of finished off on a higher note saying how fun the game was to play again. And I don't want to detract from the bugs because there are a lot of bugs. HUDs aren't sized right, the radar can sometimes glitch out, ships don't spawn properly, controls are kind of messed up from time to time. Like, I can't seem to get the advanced controls to take in any way and get them to be usable. But for part two, I wanted to focus more on some of the fun aspect of things that actually make the game play like the game it's supposed to play as. So here I am in the Aurora. I got in this just to check out some of the new redesigned cockpit features. And we're going to warp out to Damar. You can see the quantum travel effects have been greatly improved. And even sitting at Port Alizar, seeing some of these ships come blasting in and out of quantum travel is just an awesome sight to see. It makes it feel almost like Star Trek at some points watching the show, and the ship blasts in and out, except you're actually getting to be there and take part in it. So here I am at Damar for the first time. I'd never actually been to this planet before, which is partly why I didn't use the nav buoy up there at the top of the cockpit screen. There's certain orbital markers that they've placed around planets so that you can quantum travel to these markers and then head straight down to the planet's surface, making it a little easier to get around. Now, I'm looking for a place of interest, just kind of scouting out on the astro map. And if you notice on the map, all of the locations are in a faded font, whereas on my HUD, all of the locations are in very bold font. So for a moment, I get a little confused between which two I'm trying to go to. The one I'm clicking now is not really an item. It's part of my HUD. But I find out a place I want to go take a look at, which is right there, and I'm going to zip on over to that.
Quantum drive is now on.
Once we get there, short little jump. Boom. Now, you can fly to all these locations, but you can save yourself a lot of time by just quantum traveling.
Quantum drive
And this is another abandoned Kovalek shipping hub that's been damaged and destroyed in orbit. Looks very similar to the other one from the missions. I thought it was the same, but it's actually a completely different one. But it's kind of cool that you can come out here, see it. It's in disrepair. The window's blown out, so I think they might have just copy-pasted that one for now, which is fine. I didn't see if I could land and go in it. I'll have to check that out another time. There's Crusader over there, and then Damar right there. So I'm a little closer to an area that I want to go down to, and I'm going to fly on down. And while we're here, waiting for that transition, you can see some of the redone cockpit, which is so much nicer than the original Auroras. It just works a lot better, and you have visible information that you can actually utilize. Now, Yela or Yella, however you want to pronounce it, is a pretty cool place to look at and see, especially with the rings around the planet. But Damar really is an experience that's very different because it's a dry planet, but it actually has an atmosphere. So I'm jumping into high speed mode here so that I can get up to the planet. But as I get closer, you can see the kind of meridian between day and night where the sun's hitting the surface actually start to thicken, and then you'll start seeing a blue hue around the planet, and that's the actual atmosphere coming into view as I approach it. And as we're zipping around, I'll look in and on some of the screens. We talked a little bit about that in part one, so I'm not going to waste most of the time here. Just kind of watch what's happening. Alright, so looking through some of the menus, there's lots of different options. They're the same between a lot of the ships. Because the control scheme's not perfect right now, it's hard to control some of them with keyboard shortcuts, and I mentioned a moment ago that I'm having some issues getting the advanced controls to stick where I could actually go back in and modify those things quickly. Here we go, entering the atmosphere now. So this came up a little faster than I thought. I wasn't paying attention to my altitude. And as I come blasting into the atmosphere, you can tell my ship starts switching over to trying to fight a little bit of what's happening naturally. So I'm caught in the planet's gravity well right now. And you can see the upper thruster there on the back is pushing my ship up, keeping me on heading. Otherwise, gravity is going to start pulling my ship down in a direction I don't want to go. You can also start seeing a little bit of that bluish hue tinge to the horizon as the atmosphere starts getting closer and closer, and I'm in it now. My HUD changed again. You can see I've got the altimeter and some other data now on my screen, and the ship's a little more sluggish to fly. Full atmospheric flight hasn't been completed just yet, if I recall, a few around the verses ago, but it is coming. So while you're in orbit, the ships still kind of handle more like a spaceship, but soon that will start to change. So we're going to zip again as we come on our way. And as I was flying, I started to notice below me through the bottom windows that the ground was getting a little closer, and I started seeing some features across the horizon. So there's the haze of the sunlight hitting the atmosphere. The atmosphere is not super thick, but you can actually see the haze, so it looks very convincing as a real sunset, sunrise. Now you start seeing some of the features on the horizon, and that's what kind of caught my attention, that, oh, wait a second, I'm really low to the ground, I need to pull up. And so I flipped my ship to the side to take a look out and start seeing the features, and was just blown away by how immersive and fun it was. Because no matter where I am right now on this planet, I could choose to just park and land and go exploring. Now there's not much to see out here, but when I come back, when they put mining in 3.2, 3.3, I can bring my prospector out here, have a land, start mining minerals, go exploring. I can come out in the Ursa rover, start driving around the planet, or even the Dragonfly that I have, and just cruise. This part right here with the sunrise coming back up as I get closer and closer to the sun, being able to actually watch the sun pop up and change the illumination and hit my ship was just a beautiful sight. I'm going to shut up and just kind of observe for a moment. Here we come up on my destination. You can see the illumination of it as I come flying overhead, which was awesome. I'm still in full afterburner, so I had to slow down and turn around. So I came out here to a hydroponics lab, research facility. I'd been to some emergency facilities before, and they were cool, but I wanted to come to something different instead of just an emergency place. So I decided to come to this research facility, which was a little bigger. They didn't have a dedicated landing spot, so I just figured right here up front where the ground's level would be fine. I forced my ship down a little bit just to make sure it was on the ground so I didn't flip over like happened in my other ship, and then proceeded to come in and have a little bit of a look around. Now, I'm not going to show the whole facility, but it was kind of cool to come in and see some of the setup they've created for it and its basic functions, booklets and things. What I look forward to heavily in the future is actually having researchers in these facilities and folks that are doing something. Because as it looks now, it's like they stepped out for a moment to go get a cup of coffee or something, and they should be right back. Fresh watermelon, so I really look forward to having people in here having conversations that I can then interact with, maybe purchase some plants from, things like that, or talk to them about the plants, and actually having to come out here for a mission. Somebody just says, hey, go to Damar and go to the hydroponics facility and talk to Catherine or something. I just think that would be so awesome to have to go do that or learn something from these people in information gathering where they don't actually tell you what you need. You have to go explore. And as I was here, the sun continued to set, so it got a bit darker. And since they added the nebula and all that back into space, it just has a beautiful look to it. It feels very desolate. There's dust blowing around the surface, the wind, just a whole lot of fun. Since I was here, I decided to check out some of the options for cargo. I didn't really play a lot with it. This is the first time I'd ever seen the item 2 or 3.0 menu and looked at any of it. So I was just looking around. I didn't know what to buy, what to sell, what to do. So I figured let's buy some food. My ship can't hold a lot. I can only take, I think, 3 units, so I spent about 1,600. Filled my ship to capacity. It's an Aurora, doesn't have a lot of cargo space, but it was still nice. Purchased my wares, and then decided to head back to Olazar to sell them, hoping I didn't get interdicted by some pirates or run into somebody looking to steal my stuff, or just being a troll or a pirate themselves to kill me. So that's how easy it is to purchase some cargo. It's auto-delivered to your ship. If you find cargo somewhere, you can grab it and take it, and I'm not sure where I'd put it in my Aurora, since I'm not sure where the cargo hold is. I know it's got a bed right behind the cockpit, but got to reset my destination for Olazar.
Takeoff complete.
Alright, it's that simple. Raise the landing gear. You can see how dark it's become now. Since there's not a lot of light, space looks beautiful. Now you can, in some areas, do quantum travel straight from the planet's surface out to where you need to go. Since my destination is not visible at the moment, I have to climb up so that Crusader appears again. If it is in view, you can right now quantum travel from the planet's atmosphere. Now that I'm back in the sunlight, you can see my trails appeared. You can quantum travel from the planet's atmosphere straight to the destination. Now, you're not really supposed to, and in the future they'll probably restrict some of that stuff, but again, this is Alpha 3.0, and this is some of the gameplay that the fans have been dying to have for so long, and to be able to just randomly pick a spot on a planet, fly out there, land, walk off your ship, and go exploring is phenomenal. I can't wait till they add more of the flora, the fauna, and the other creatures to these planets and make them more fleshed out and add more planets and jump points. It's gonna go crazy once all these other roles and jobs have been put in place. Right now you don't really have a lot of them, but even this, just flying out here was so fun. If you're into this type of space simulation, having to fly and do these things, you're gonna love this game. But you have to understand, it's still very alpha. There's a lot of bugs, a lot of features aren't there yet. But man, I am glad I've been playing and waiting and enjoying this game. So last part here, just gonna hawk my wares. Managed to sell it for double what I paid for, which is a great bit of profit. I'll do some more videos about different runs. I'll probably do some live streaming, but hope you enjoyed this. Hope to see you in 3.0 at some point. If there's anything special you want to see, let me know. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.